All right, we're rolling. I'm probably going to offend some people in this conversation, but that's not uncommon for me. I want to talk about EBT and how it's just a giant scam for basically everybody involved. Yeah, just freedom, feel like, subscribe. And remember, if you're letting your kids watch me, this channel isn't for kids. And you're a bad parent, you should know what your kids are watching. Yeah, don't blame the internet, blame the parents. Why I say that EBT is a giant corporate scam has a lot to do with just what they allow you to buy. Like, and all the people along the way that basically make a living off of the situation. Like, let me put it in perspective. Coca-Cola is not food. And yet I could buy Coca-Cola and Coke products if I had EBT. For the price of one 12-pack, and that's not what most of those fat fuckers are buying. I could buy two heads of cabbage. Now, I'm using cabbage as an example. That is how much green leafy vegetable material that is good for you. I could buy Little Debbie's. Little Debbie's, you could argue they're sort of food. They're sugary nonsense. And do I like some Little Debbie's? Yeah, everybody likes Little Debbie's. But you say you're starving. You're starving so bad, no money, that you can't afford to live. And yet people are buying that shit. Twizzlers. Like the epitome. I don't know, maybe I should say Dr. Thunder, but like the epitome of something that is bad for you. It's like high fructose corn syrup in food plastic form. You could buy that on an EBT. You know, it used to be more honest when they called food stamps. And way back when I was a kid, people were ashamed to use food stamps. You know why food stamps were effective to some degree? Because you couldn't buy shit. Couldn't buy soda. You know, you couldn't go to Papa Murphy's and buy a pre-baked pizza. And that's like 20 years ago. Maybe not 20, but a number of years ago. The one time I got EBT, like $200 a month, a number of years ago, I'd spend like $100 on actual food. And then I'd have effectively, God, $100 left over. Now I'm hearing people are spending on DoorDash, like Chipotle. Now, I want to talk about something that's rather ironic about this. Do I think that people on food stamps should have something enjoyable occasionally? Well, not Chipotle, not McDonald's. No, motherfucker, you need to get a job. You want to go out and spend money on fast food, then you go out and make some goddamn money. Green leafy vegetables, not high quality cuts of meat, chicken, pork, you shouldn't be eating the best of the best on a government check. I'm just saying, you shouldn't. Now, would I stop you? And hell, if I was on EBT, would I do something similar to what you do? Probably. Except for if I was on EBT, you better believe I'd be eating, you want to talk about as a single person. If you're a single person on EBT, why aren't you doing like a keto diet or something, a good diet? Like, I hear these days they're giving around $250 to $300 or more. And let me tell you why this turns into an absolute fucking scam. I remember I was talking to a family member of mine a few years back. So it's probably gone up by like $100 since then. Plus the kids are now like turning into teenagers. And you know how that is. She looks at the portion she eats. She was telling me this. And she's like, I eat this little amount. And these teenagers just consume. And they're like, yeah, and she looks over at me. You guys know this like $600 we spend, it's mostly you. It's like vast majority you, but back in the day, this a few years back, I asked her, I said, well, what do you spend per month to feed this 4-person family? And she's like, about $500, know how to cook and all this. I said, would it surprise you that people in your own state that are broke get $740? They get $240 more than you ever needed to feed a family of 4. Because some people know how to cook. Like home ec was a real thing back in the day. We actually kind of measured a woman to some degree, and some cultures still do this. Like, yeah, like let's say an individual, she's not the prettiest, but goddamn, his wife can cook. I've heard a lot of people say, Latinos have heard that a lot. Like, well, no, she's a really good cook. And that's the type of thing that goes on your whole life. Now, if you understand the American food system, the food banks, for instance, I go to the food banks, and I don't think you should ever feel shame about going to the food banks, and I'll explain why, because everybody along that system gets a tax break. But you get more than enough food. You get more than enough food at food banks. Then these people get like however many hundreds of dollars out of EBT. And apparently Coca-Cola is food. Now, there's a part of the reason that these people eat so bad is because they've already went to the food banks. They know how to work the system. They've already got all the food they need. At this point, all they have to do is augment. Like, oh, we need this spice, maybe this cut of meat, and this thing. These people on EBT are going to Costco. These people on EBT, go to a food bank sometime. You want to see something really fucked up? You will see people driving really nice cars at a food bank. Apparently, they're starving. Their car payment's $500 to $700. Apparently, they're starving. When I go there, a guy not on the system, to a food bank, I definitely have the oldest vehicle there. Like almost every time. Unless there's some old dude, it's similar to me, like in the sense that he's just got an old pickup or something. And he's like, well, no, I know how to fix this. I ain't changing. He's like, I bought this year 19 something. I'll keep that. But you go to food banks and you see people with new cars. And then these people then get EBT. And they go out and spend that on BS. Coca-Cola, candy, Little Debbie's. Everything that you're not supposed to buy, everything you're not supposed to be buying, they are buying it. And let me tell you why this food system is entirely rigged. For instance, at the food bank system, first, the farmer gets a subsidized situation. Now, farming's a hard job. You got to love farming if you're going to be a small-time farmer. After that, then the trucks that take it to a processing plant, including the silos, and everything, they're all getting tax deductions. Still, it's a job, but there's tax deductions. You pay for those tax deductions. Yes, you, American. Then after that, it goes to the factory. They produce something, a lot of employees, a lot of tax deductions. Then it goes on another truck to a DC, tax deduction. DC's also tax deduction, a bunch of employees. Then it goes from the DC on a truck to a supermarket, tax deduction. And when that what should be the last place the food is at, they don't just give that food away because they care about poor, starving people. No, the government made a system where if you give food before it goes bad to charities like food banks, food pantries, whatever you want to call it, you can claim it on your taxes. You get a tiny tax deduction for basically throwing it in a dumpster because a dumpster is a claim. You get a huge tax deduction as a grocer, as a restaurant, for giving what is really good food to your food pantries. I mean, that's why sometimes you'll be at some of these food banks and they'll be giving you like whole pizzas that they baked too many last night and they just, write it off. Tax deduction, fried chicken, tax deduction, whole bags of prawns, shrimp, steak, tax deduction. It's not enough that all these corporations get tax deductions for producing this food and producing too much of it and then giving it to the food bank. But then it goes a step further. God forbid that a company like Coca-Cola or whoever makes Little Debbie's or whatever, Frito-Lay, isn't getting enough tax deductions along the whole goddamn way of this country. Nope. Let's get some of that fat fucker EBT money. Because apparently Coca-Cola can't get into the farming industry and grow some cabbage, grow some broccoli. I would rather our country, if we're going to waste food, at least let it be green leafy vegetables. We could take, and people are like, people aren't going to eat them. Then they'll fucking starve. Stop giving people the choice of like a whole ass pie. A whole ass pie. You could buy a whole ass baked pie versus something. I mean, you want to get some flour, some sugar, and you want to bake some baked goods for your kids? Shit, you got all day sitting around on your fat ass on EBT. I'm a big boy, but I see some of that little rascal, Walmart American crowd, the little rascal crowd. Motherfuckers can't even walk. Oh, they struggle on their little to get to the little rascal at the Walmart. Oh, man. These people don't need Coca-Cola. They don't need, why don't we just be real about it? Why don't we just make EBT where you could buy hard liquor and weed? Why don't we just go to hey, man, I heard a socialist got elected in New York. Maybe we'll see it. What I'm getting at with this is that we have an entire system. Everybody bitches about the 1%. But our food system, which theoretically, if you were only allowed to buy real food, meats, cheeses, and not the high grade stuff, you could buy some tilapia or swai or whatever they call it. You could get some canned mackerel. You could get green leafy vegetables. You could get the basics, like they used to do, when they had government cheese. How many of you ever had one of them government cheese sandwiches back in the day? I remember my buddies were talking about, yeah, man, that flavor of government cheese. It was just funny. We were all drinking and we were talking about things from our childhood. He's like, I would like a government cheese, grilled cheese sandwich. And I'm like, wow, that's deep. But in some places you can buy Domino's. And you wonder why we have an obesity epidemic. I mean, look, how much of our food supply is literally enriched carbohydrates? It's stuff that'll stay stable forever. Like cereal, pasta, sugar, shit. If we're going to subsidize farmers to grow soybeans and corn you can't eat on the cob so we can make high fructose corn death, why can't we subsidize some of these farmers to be growing spinach, cabbage? And people say, well, they won't eat it. Then they could fucking starve. And if you can't manage to get the idea that you need to feed your kids actual food, beans and rice, learn how to make a taco, actually feed your kids real food. Otherwise, that is child abuse, because you're teaching your kids to eat this stuff that is effectively fucking poison. And look, I like some fucking bad shit too. I love me some red vines. Occasionally, I like a soda. But the idea of someone saying, feed me, I'm starving. And what do they spend that shit on? They go through the Dollar Tree, the candy aisle, the chip aisle. No, people who actually work and pay taxes should be fucking pissed. And the idea that you see some of these Walmart, little rascal, EBT Americans talking about, we're going to go rob these stores. Man, fucking do it. And you know what I hope they do? I hope they catch you and then say, you're clearly not fit to raise your children. And you get kicked off every goddamn benefit you got. Because they have made it way too easy. Some of these blue states, you could just fake crazy, get a welfare check. If I can live off 100 to 200, I could just let's go crazy, $300 a month, and I could get $1,000 from the government. Shit, you could be quietly investing with that money. Have one of your relatives doing it. Our system is so broken that the very idea of someone not able to buy sugary drinks is now considered or it's a violation of the human rights. My God. And by the way, this is the golden age. As weird as it might sound, we are living in the golden age. But Jesus Christ, much like Rome, we are slowly crumbling. For every 12-pack of Coke, that's 2 heads of cabbage. There are people who were starving in the East Block back in the day, and you're pissed off you can't buy sugary shit. EBT is a scam. Peace.